Hi, welcome to the Libertarian Party's television channel online. My name is Jess Mears, and I'm the membership manager for the National Libertarian Party. And this election season, I'm also the deputy campaign manager for the Jorgensen Cohen 2020 campaign. We are doing tonight this live stream because we want to make sure that all of you viewers of LPTV and followers of the Libertarian Party are up to date on the Jorgensen campaign. We're going to share with you some things that you can expect with the final 67 days until the election. And we also have some surprise announcements tonight. So please go ahead, invite your friends to join us and share this live stream so that way everyone that is in your viewer feed can find out more about what's happening with the Jorgensen campaign, catch some of these surprise announcements, and also get to hear from one of the candidates. We'll share with you here in a little bit which of the candidates is going to be joining us here on LPTV. So all of the people that you will be meeting tonight are taking a break from the campaign trail to share with you this information. We've got a lot of people from the campaign leaders that are going to be taking your questions at the very end. So by the end of this episode, by the end of the hour, we hope that you will feel more connected to the Jorgensen Cohen campaign, know how to get involved and make a difference, hear from one of the candidates. They're on the road right now, so you'll get to see a little bit of the real life behind the scenes of the campaign trail, ask your questions, and get answers. So the first person we're bringing on to the stream this evening is Steve Dasbach. He is the campaign manager. He is a former chair of the Libertarian Party, and he is also a former national director of the Libertarian Party. Steve is going to give you some of the campaign strategy, and he will also be on the end for Q&A. So please do save your questions. We'll be going through those with Steve later this evening. So Steve, would you mind sharing the audience of LPTV some of the campaign strategy?
Great. If you look at a lot of the polls about where people fall in the political spectrum, there's around 45 million people out there who are of voting age who are, generally speaking, libertarian leaning. That is, they want to see lower government across the board. They want to see smaller government across the board. They want to have less government involvement in their life. And so they generally lean towards freedom, and they're not happy with the Democrats and Republicans. And so our task is to try to find and identify as many of those people as possible, get them active, not just in this campaign and not just as voters in November, but also to get them to become activists and volunteers and members in the Libertarian Party. And so a little bit on the numbers so far. We're up to, we've got about 134,000 people that have signed up to be involved in the campaign at some level, just for more information or the like. We've got about 30,000 donors, individuals who have donated, and we have over 8,000 people who have volunteered. And we're actually expecting to see that volunteer number go way up because we've now got several volunteer activities that can mobilize a lot of people at once. We've got a phone banking effort, text banking. We've got literature going out to all of the states for distribution, organizing sign waves, car caravans, and the like. And so we're going to be emailing out to those 134,000 contacts and asking them, reminding them that we do have this opportunity to become involved as a volunteer. And so we're expecting those numbers to go way up. One of the things that we're trying to do in this campaign, virtually everybody that's involved in this campaign is a libertarian, either small L or mostly large L, but there are some small L libertarians. And what we're trying to do is build that farm team up so that the next, when we have additional elections at the local and state level in 2 years and presidential campaigns in 4 years, we've got a lot of people who have been through the process of a presidential campaign. They know things that work. They know things that don't work. They know pitfalls to avoid. And so we're going to have a lot of people who are prepared to be working on comm teams or campaign managers or doing field work and the like, so that we think that can help advance us forward. And we're also going to have some people that have some experience with social media, with advertising, all the different ways to communicate our message. That's really where we're trying to put our money that's being raised, that the donors are coming for, is we're trying to put as much of it possible in direct voter outreach, advertising on TV, advertising on Facebook, the bus tour and getting people out there and getting earned media, literature distribution, all the ways that we can get the message directly to people and identify as many of those 45 million people as we can locate.
So one of the things that Steve highlighted in the strategy is that the Libertarian Party and the presidential campaign are really working hand in hand. So in that sense, we are making sure when Joe Jorgensen and Spike Cohen are having events, that individuals that are attending the events are being invited to join the Libertarian Party, as well as on the campaign website. When you sign up, people are asked if they are current members of the Libertarian Party. So this campaign is really all about building the party for the future, and it's a really awesome strategy. And so the party is very grateful for Steve's leadership and making sure that we are growing the party through the Joe Jorgensen campaign. So
and one thing along that line, we do when people sign up as volunteers, we ask, one of the questions we ask them is, are you currently a member of the Libertarian Party? And 3/4 of the people who are volunteering to work on the campaign, the answer is no, they're not already members of the Libertarian Party. So this is not a campaign where we're simply mobilizing the party faithful. We're really reaching out to people who have never heard of the Libertarian Party before, have never been involved before, but they like what they see, and they don't like what they see on the Democrat and Republican side.
We've got some really exciting news about how the Libertarian Party is growing because of this campaign coming up here in just a moment from Angela. But before that, we're going to share with you a new campaign ad, one that I haven't even seen yet. That's how new it is. And it is going to be a special premiere here on LPTV. So Dan is going to cue that up for us, and you will be
make sure it's the one that's victimless is the one we want to do.
The victimless video, so you will be one of the first viewers to see this campaign ad.
No sound. We're not getting any sound.
All right,
we
Steve.
Tested it beforehand, it worked then.
Which number ad is this one for this campaign? We've released a few ads already.
Well, I think we've got, this is like.
The president says he wants to wage a war on drugs, but if that's true, what we need is another D-Day, not another Vietnam.
Before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not? What do you think, huh?
Half of the total prison population of the world are allegedly in jail for non-violent drug-related purposes.
Nicotine, alcohol, good drugs. Coincidentally, tax drugs. Now, where's my commercial?
They did everything they could to keep Tulsi Gabbard off that debate stage because they didn't want to hear what she had to say.
Senator Harris put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
I am not in favor of legalization.
We need more prisons.
Your government will continue to act aggressively.
Biden has made it a death penalty offense for everything but jaywalking.
America's public enemy #1 is drug abuse.
After all, there's a lot of money in this.
If we don't get tough on the drug dealers, we're wasting our time. And that toughness includes the death penalty.
It's okay to drink your drug. We meant those other drugs, those untaxed drugs.
I will federally decriminalize all drugs, letting consensual adult activities become safer and destigmatized, allowing the true victims to be recognized so they can be given the help they need. This is your life. You can make your own decisions better than somebody out in Washington.
When we end the war on drugs and free its victims from their cages, it will be because of you.
Salvage lives, not throw them away. We would not see all of the people who are locked up for simple possession, for simple use. If there is no victim, there is no crime. I'm Joe Jorgensen, and I approve this message.
So Steve, thanks for letting everyone here on LPTV have an opportunity to sneak peek this ad. When do we expect the ad will be live?
This one will go live tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly what time, but it'll go live sometime tomorrow. And Dan is working right now on developing the 30 and 60-second broadcast versions that will be used on TV.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steve, for the updates. And we are going to now bring on Angela Pence from Atlanta. Dr. Jorgensen was just in Atlanta this past weekend, and Angela was one of the key organizers for this event. So Angela's going to share with you some of her experience from being a host for Dr. Jorgensen in Atlanta and how that event went. So, hey, Angela, how's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good. So yeah, we were incredibly excited to have Joe come to Atlanta and host her. As well as it says on screen, I work or am part of the executive committee for the Libertarian Party of Georgia. And we had been pushing and hoping, to get her in Atlanta. And so when the ball dropped and it was like, okay, she's coming, it was like, oh my gosh, yes. Because I've seen the growth within just the state of Georgia in general over the last several months as this election has really kind of heated up and people are starting to really get involved, especially seeing how she has been excluded, for example, from the debates, and things like that. So, a few weeks ago, we hosted the Let Her Speak, and it was this huge event. And then so coming off the heels of that, we got to have Joe in Atlanta. And that event was super successful. I think we had over 300 people attend. We actually had to have one venue, and then we had to have an overflow venue right down the road, which was really cool. And I mean, of course, you guys know, and several other people know, Joe is just crazy personable. So she did her speech there and everything and saw people and meted with them, and then came to the overflow venue, which was really cool. And she has, just having her really, in Atlanta, I knew if we could get her there, it was really going to pump people up. But we've definitely seen a membership surge in our state party, which is our goal. Our goal at the state level is to turn Georgia gold. And we do that by having affiliates throughout the entire state and having the individual communities working within their communities to kind of spread the word and everything. And, we had at least 5 people that actually attended that event get with us about starting affiliates within the state, which is, and some of those were in South Georgia, which is fantastic. So it was really exciting to see. It's exciting to see just her message spreading and, everybody getting super excited about it. But it's definitely excited to see our membership growing within the state party. We have candidates now that are running in special elections, like Chase Oliver is running for District 5, the congressional seat in District 5 in Atlanta. Shout out to him, chaseforhealth.com. But also, we have Shane Hazel, and we have Martin Cohen, and we have now Danny Doolin. We have several candidates that are actually stepping up, and they're following in the steps of Joe because she is such an amazing inspiration to the people of the state. She's really firing people up. So the event was amazing. We hope to host her again, down the road and get her back here. And we're definitely, loving the membership surge, LPGeorgia.com. Anybody that's interested in that can stop in, and we are more than willing to take you on. But yeah, we loved it. We loved having her.
Thank you so much, Angela. And for anyone at home that wants to be able to see part of the experience that Angela is speaking about, the rally in Atlanta, it was live streamed last Saturday. So you can go back to Dr. Jorgensen's Facebook page and her videos, and you can actually watch the live stream yourself and hear her speech. She also gets to ask questions or answer questions from the audience. So you can kind of see it was a socially compliant, socially distant compliant event in Atlanta. So really thankful to everyone with LP Georgia and the Georgia Jorgensen Cohen campaign for putting on such a great event. And Angela didn't mention that we kind of planned this event with very short notice, and within a couple hours of letting the folks in Georgia know that Dr. Jorgensen would be visiting, they secured a venue. And within 8 hours of letting them know that Dr. Jorgensen would be visiting, it was also a already sold out event. So hat tip to everyone, including Angela and Georgia, for all of your work. And thanks for sharing your experience. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for bringing her, and we'll welcome her again, and anybody else who wants to stop in Georgia.
Thanks so much, Angela. So now we're going to turn to one of the news hits from Dr. Jorgensen's campaign, her bus tour that she was on for 16 days. There's a news hit out of her rally in St. Louis. And we just want to kind of show you some of the coverage of what's happening with the local media at Dr. Jorgensen's and Spike Cohen's events. So Dan, would you mind queuing that one up?
The Libertarian presidential candidate is stepping up to the mic.
Fox 2's Darian Henderson sat in on a rally that was held tonight in St. Louis, and he has more on the message to voters. Darian.
Yeah, it is no secret that being a Libertarian on the presidential ballot is an uphill battle, but by the enthusiasm that I saw here in downtown St. Louis tonight, it's a battle that many St. Louis voters plan to climb.
I would much rather vote for liberty and lose than vote for tyranny and win.
The message was clear at the Libertarian rally for presidential candidate Dr. Jo Jorgensen.
She is, first of all, is very intelligent. And second of all, she has the right message for America.
Proud to introduce Dr. Jo Jorgensen.
Dr. Jorgensen used her time at Kenner Plaza underneath the arch to spread her message. She explained to supporters and spectators her upbringing and why she believes she represents the new vision for America.
We need to put the decision-making power back into your hands, because you can spend your money better than the politicians and special interests.
Well over 100 supporters showed up for Friday evening's rally. Attendees spanned from old, young, LGBT, and minority voters, all having one mission: to get Dr. Jorgensen to Washington.
I've never raised a tax. I've never fought in an unnecessary war, and I've never made decisions for other people. I do know how to balance a checkbook, and because I have lived under the system, I have a love for this country.
With all attention on incumbent President Donald Trump and Democratic candidate Joe Biden, these voters say choosing between two parties just isn't enough.
I believe Trump and Biden want to take away a lot of our rights that are, they were ours at one point, but they're just controlling every bit of us. And I feel like she will make this more of a country that it's supposed to be.
As for Libertarian candidate Dr. Jorgensen, she agrees.
We need a real change, and that's why I'm asking you to vote for me for President of the United States.
Now, another big course of action is getting Dr. Jorgensen on the debate stage. There actually is a petition out right now from her supporters trying to make sure that happened for the big networks. Of course, Dr. Jorgensen says she's going to work hard to make sure that happens. And live in downtown St. Louis, Darian Henderson, Fox 2 News.
So one of the exciting things about that news hit that wasn't shown is that was the very top of the news hour on St. Louis on their local, I think it was the ABC channel. At 9:30, Dr. Jorgensen kicked off. She was the first story, and it was about a full 3-minute news hit. So Dr. Jorgensen's getting a lot of really great news coverage out there while she is on the campaign trail, and they're really kind of capturing the essence of the supporter base that's coming to see her at her events. it's a broad, diverse base of individuals that are coming to support her. So I hope that news coverage was able to kind of give you a little bit of insight into how her campaign events are going, and the way that she's being received by the media locally is phenomenal. So now we are going to introduce to you Christy Kendrick. Christy is a regional field director on the campaign, and she is also the campaign's events promoter. So she is the person who is making sure that when you go to joe20.com/events, that everything there is listed, so that way you know how to go and see the candidates. So Christy, you have some information for us on upcoming events. And also, Christy, I wanted to thank you so much. I know you're running for Kentucky State House, also very invested in the Jorgensen campaign. So I just wanted to thank you for everything you're doing for the campaign and running for office.
Well, thank you, Jess. Thank you. I'm really glad to be here. And following up with what Angela said, it's all very exciting. And with the level of interest that is surrounding Joe, I'm happy to present the events that are currently happening, as well as touch on those that have already passed. So so here we have a short presentation. We'll just move on to the next slide, Dan. Thank you. So at the beginning of August, the bus that you see here came from Nashville, Tennessee, up to Pennsylvania and met Joe. One of the great things about this bus, unfortunately due to COVID, we were able, or the campaign was able to get this for a very reasonable price, given that there aren't a lot of bus tours going on right now with groups and things. So again, we started off Joe's bus tour in August in Pennsylvania, but we're going to roll on into Spike's campaign. The next slide, please. So Spike's campaign starts off in Cincinnati, Ohio, and will end in Seattle, Washington. This will be almost a 3-week adventure, and so we'll just keep moving on. Thank you, Dan. Again, so we've got Cincinnati, Ohio, to Flint, to Highland, Indiana, Des Moines, and I have some pictures here. You can just scroll right through these. As you can see, there is a lot of excitement, a lot of energy happening. There's also, oh no, you're fine. So as Jess mentioned earlier, there are these towns are getting lots of excitement from the local news stations. Almost at every stop, they're getting interviewed. Joe's and Spike's attendance levels are roughly, well, Spike's is around 100, and Joe's is between 100 and 175. I guess we can move on. Yes, so these have already the last slide, these have already taken place. And here we are. Now we're into this week. So tomorrow, Tempe, Arizona, they do have an off day today. So they didn't get many of those on Spike's tour, but they will be in Tempe, Arizona. And rounding out to just move on to, I think, the last of his, yes. So in Seattle, it has been, actually someone just texted and said that has been established for the announcement. So we'll get that up and live on the website and across Eventbrite. And so while this weekend, Joe will be in both Little Rock, Arkansas and Parker, Colorado. Colorado is having their annual convention, and for both events, she will be participating in the rally. The Parker rally sold out within like 2 days of getting it posted online. So that was a lot of fun. I always like to see that. Let's move on. Oh, and then she's going to Ketchikan, Alaska for 4 days. And she will be on the ice rink in Juneau. I hope that they get great video of that. I'm really excited to see it. All right. Past events. So one of the things that most people may not realize is that they have been on the road since the national convention, just almost nonstop. They've traveled to 100 cities, or maybe not 100 cities, but they've attended 100 events. And this is just Joe's tour from August. She started off in Pennsylvania. Well, actually, her and Spike did. And for 3 days, gosh, I should have written this down. I want to say that between the two of them, they probably hit about 30 cities. Would you say that's right, Jess? At least 30. It was a nonstop campaign throughout all of Pennsylvania. And we'll just move on to the next slide. Okay, so not only did she have her bus tour during the month of August, but she also visited these cities. And you'll have to bear in mind, a lot of these cities, there were multiple stops within. And Joe's bus tour alone was, as Jess said earlier, 16 days worth of travel. Lots of good stuff. Okay, here we have the Maryland and Pennsylvania petition drop-off photos. Alrighty. Oh, Austin, Texas was one of the bigger events. The top 3 events for Joe's tour were Austin, Allen, and Durham, North Carolina, which I think we have some pictures of those too. Here you go. Yes, and there's a website. I would like to include on this slideshow additional links for videos and links for the photography. Here was her final stop in Greenville, South Carolina. Once again, there was media attention everywhere along the way. And the photo on the left was the dinner that evening where they actually got to see her live on the screen from the news film. Okay. So while Joe was traveling and prior to, this is Spike's calendar from Orlando, Florida, all the way to Richmond, Virginia. And then he almost immediately got on the bus for his own tour. And I unfortunately didn't get any photos of that. And then here's, okay. So we've been getting great press. Joe's Facebook page, they've been doing excellent at highlighting the press coverage that they've received and the interviews that I mentioned earlier. I think that pretty much wraps it up. It's been nonstop for the whole events committee or the whole events team. Every day there's a new event that becomes live, and we get to promote the heck out of it. So that's good. I'm excited to be here. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you so much, Christy. We really appreciate everything you're doing as the campaign's events promoter. And I know that everyone that gets a chance to come to a campaign event really appreciates you making sure that they get the notice and a lot of communication. Christy's like letting people know when there's rain to be expected and to bring an umbrella, because all of the campaign activities are happening outdoors this cycle. It's a very unusual presidential year, and the campaign has adapted, and both of the candidates are out on the campaign trail, and all of the campaign events include hand sanitizer, PPE, social distancing, so trying to keep everyone safe, but still be able to at least be able to engage with the candidates, do Q&A with a sanitized microphone, and be able to still be part of this experience this year, even though there's a lot of obstacles and concerns that people have. So we are really, really excited and thankful for everything you're doing, Christy. So next we're going to introduce Kevin Moore. Kevin Moore has been someone who has been organizing volunteers from the beginning of this campaign. He has so much insight on what's happening on the campaign, and he is here to share with you how you can get involved and make a big difference with 67 days left until the election. That's still lots of time to make a big difference. So thanks, Kevin. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Jess. And as she mentioned, I am helping organize volunteers here at the national level for the Jorgensen Campaign. And if you want to help, there are many ways for you to get involved with the campaign. You don't have to be a professional communicator or a professional fundraiser to have something that you can do to help. We have many opportunities depending on what your skills are and what you want to do, where you can help out. Some areas just about anyone can contribute. Others do look for certain specialized skills and capabilities. Some of those areas where anyone can help, we have a phone bank system being headed up by Jackie Perry. She's doing a fantastic job. Right now, we're planning on contacting more than 10 million voters between now and the election. And with your help, we can make that 20 million. That's our stretch goal, and maybe even make it to 30 million, depending on how many people we get to help with those phone banking calls. You don't even have to figure out what to say or dial a number. You sign up, there's a system set up, it'll make the call for you. You get a little script in front of you. It tells you, hey, here's the message to share. And of course, if you feel like it, you also can get a chance to talk with some voters about why Joe Jorgensen is a great candidate and why the Libertarian Party is the way to go over Trump and Biden. We also need help with media and poll monitoring. We need help keeping track of and analyzing mentions of Joe and Spike in the news, knowing who's saying nice things about us, where we want to get more attention. We want to play those up, and areas where we might want to address a certain situation for our communications team to review and prioritize their actions. If you can help and you're a media hound, love watching what's going on in the news, check in with the campaign. I believe it's Chelsea Meckles who's running that side of things. As Christy mentioned, we also have a number of opportunities for volunteers in our events. Spike is touring the West Coast. Joe has a number of events coming up. You can learn more about that at joe20.com/events. And on those pages, there's an Eventbrite link to sign up for tickets. As part of that, you can actually sign up to be a volunteer, and they'll give you a specific position to help out with the campaign at that event. We also have other more specialized areas where you can help. But let me talk next about a new volunteer hub that we have coming out. It's going to have links to all these areas and more, so watch for that on joe20.com/volunteer. It'll have links with some of these things I've mentioned, and also links to how you can help locally at your state level. It was mentioned earlier that, hey, the state organizations are growing rapidly. We could actually triple our numbers this year with the number of people we have. I happen to live in California, in one county to the northern side of this state where we don't even have an affiliate right now. We have 216 people just in that county who we could connect with, who are contacts for the campaign. So get ready for a flood of people. There's going to be some information coming out through your state affiliates, through your county affiliates, for how you can help get ready for a lot of volunteers, welcome them into the campaign. And as Steve mentioned, most of these people aren't even libertarians yet. We're seeing about 20% Democrats, 20% Republicans, maybe 35, 40% are unregistered or independents. These are all people who are looking for a better solution than the two candidates that are out there today. It's really important to act now. You might be aware that most counties are voting by mail this year. Well, those vote by mail ballots start going out next week. So this is not going to be a season when we're out waving signs the week before the election. Okay, we will be, but it's important to get those connections now before the vote by mail information goes out. I'll mention just a couple more little things here to wrap up. For those of you interested in keeping up with ways to volunteer, we have several ways to communicate with us. One is a weekly volunteer update on Zoom. It's every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. You can find a link and other information on our Discord and Slack communications channels. And you can find links to those in our upcoming in our upcoming volunteer hub. And there's also a new volunteer newsletter that's going to be going out starting this week. For those of you with professional skills, we are looking for key people with certain specialized skills in communications, media, social media, and events coordination. There's a campaign recruiting manager, Liz Solomon, who can be contacted to get in touch about that, and also a skills survey that you'll be able to find information about. That will also be accessible through the new Volunteer Hub. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you so much, Kevin. We really appreciate you going over how to get involved. And if you are interested in making a big impact in this campaign, I know that there's a way we can find your skills that you are willing to apply and use in this campaign. We can definitely match you up with a place for you to make a big difference. So thanks so much for that information, Kevin. We are now going to watch another ad that hasn't been released yet. Steve, will you share a little bit of insight into the Let Her Speak video before Dan presses play?
Right, and this one is actually a sneak preview. It probably will not actually be released until the beginning of next week. We try to time the releases for days when we have the most traffic on our social media pages. And so the victim list is going to go out tomorrow, and this one is going to go out probably Monday or Tuesday of next week. And there were the whole effort to the Let Her Speak caravans. There's a big push this month for to have a real debate. If you're going to have a real debate, it needs to include all the candidates that are going to be on the ballot, and there's going to be 3 that are on all 50 state ballots. That's going to be Trump, Biden, and Dr. Jorgensen. And so this video is going to tap into that. And I think we'll probably try to arrange an actual formal premiere and try to connect up with some of the people that were involved in organizing the Let Her Speak caravans, because that was really a lot of the inspiration for this ad.
The government needs to get out of the way. Debates between Trump and Biden alone are not designed for the American people. They're designed to keep the Democrats and Republicans in power. They are fake debates.
If the right person was debating, they'd have a major impact on the election, because that was not a very inspiring group of people.
Let Jo Jorgensen into the debate. She's running on the Libertarian ticket. She's got a completely different worldview than either of the men who are running. We need a proliferation of voices. We need to break the duopoly. So let her speak.
If Jo Jorgensen wasn't on the ballot, I wouldn't vote for Donald Trump or Joe Biden.
The two-party duopoly also controls the presidential stage, and they keep changing the rules every time a candidate gets close.
I've had a few people ask me, are you going to be able to keep Trump in line up there? My answer is I'm a teacher. I know how to handle problem children. We'll do just fine. Thank you very much.
If Ivanka were my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
The minute he closed that door, I was banged up against the wall.
Grab him by the when you're a star, they let you do it. Nobody respects women more than I do. Give me a break. Focus on this man.
Get your work straight, Jack.
He pointed his finger at me and he said, "You're nothing to me."
Why is it real for Dr. Ford, but not for Tara Reid?
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
These voters say choosing between two parties just isn't enough.
Dr. Jorgensen.
Dr. Jo Jorgensen.
Jo Jorgensen.
Jo Jorgensen.
Dr. Jo Jorgensen.
Jo Jorgensen.
Dr. Jo Jorgensen.
Jo Jorgensen.
Jo Jorgensen.
Jo
Jorgensen. Jorgensen.
Dr. Jo Jorgensen.
Dr. Jo Jorgensen.
Dr. Jo Jorgensen wants to give voters back control.
This is your life. You can make your own decisions better than somebody out in Washington.
Trump, you don't have to worry about Biden. You're going to have to worry about Jo Jorgensen.
There are 40 million Americans who agree with us, and if we all vote for what we wanted, then we would get what we wanted. Once you see me on the stage, if you don't like what I have to say, then don't vote for me. But let's get me on the stage. I'm Jo Jorgensen, and I approve this message.
So I'm already seeing the comments that people are loving this ad. So if more people want to be able to help 200+ million American voters see this ad, Mark Galob is the next person that we're going to bring on. He's going to share with you how you can make sure that every American voter gets a chance to see Dr. Jorgensen's campaign advertising. Mark, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing terrific. Thanks for having me tonight.
So you have some information on how we can get the message of Dr. Jorgensen out to more voters. What have you got for us?
Well, absolutely. one of the things I want to give you a little peek behind the curtain of how some of these campaigns go. The last few presidential cycles, the Libertarian presidential candidate outperformed the previous campaign by about twofold. This year, we are poised to make that exponential. The trajectory of the impact that we can have in 2020 is unlimited. However, there's a couple of major hurdles. One of the first hurdles that we face is time. That's a big deal. In 2016, we had the benefit of our candidate running for a second time. And so while he wasn't necessarily the presumptive nominee, the cogs were already in motion prior to his nomination, including major finance. In 2020, we had a little more of a contentious primary, which I love, and that's how our delegate speaks. But one of the things that is a result of that is nobody knew where to put their money. Nobody knew who was going to be getting the nod. So basically, since then, people have been extremely generous. But one of the truths of the matter is the contributions are coming in a little bit tardy. They're coming in a little bit late because everything got a little bit of a later start this year. And we have a highly energized and extremely highly competent campaign staff for Joe Jorgensen this year. And we need to maximize the impact of this election and give them the tools that are going to allow them to do that. And it takes dollars. One of the second hurdles is just the crushing economic impact of the unconstitutional laws that are related to COVID. Now, I'm just going to leave that there, but basically it's not an excuse. It's a reality, and it actually shines a lot more light on why we need more libertarians in office. The bottom line is this: we need your contributions. We need them early, and we need your contributions often. This campaign is fierce. This campaign is formidable. We're not a weak third party. No, don't let them tell you that. We're not lovable losers in politics. We are agitators. We are disruptors, and we are coming for their seats. We are coming for the White House. You can put Joe Jorgensen in the White House. Do you want to see that ad on national TV? You need to contribute early, and you need to contribute often. Now, so you might be asking yourself, well, how much do I give, or what type of gift do I give? I want you to keep in mind one thing. When you go to joe20.com to make your contribution, I want you to keep in mind this: the Democrats and Republicans have about 100 times our resource. So think about what your friends who are Democrats and what your friends are that are Republicans, what are they giving? And give more. That's how you win. And if you can give 100 times more, if they're giving $1, you give 100. If they're giving 10, you give 1,000. If you can do that, that ad goes on national TV. Joe goes into the White House. So basically right now, I'm just asking you, go to joe20.com. There is a big red donate button. Give with your heart. Give what you can. Put Joe Jorgensen in the White House. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark. And as Mark mentioned, there's still 67 days left in this election cycle. There's a lot of time to make a big difference. And we have a lot of strategy in play right now. So your contributions will help do things such as make that ad go to national television, get more signs, billboards and such out there to the public. So all of these things will be capable with your generous contribution. So please go to joe20.com/give. Thank you so much, Mark, for giving some insight into the campaign, and we really appreciate it. So we do have a very special guest who is, Dan, are they here on the line with us?
Hey, how are you doing?
Mike Cohen is here. He is currently on the campaign trail and is in this call right now. A VP candidate. So, Mike, where are you? What are you doing? What has your life been?
I am currently in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. It is a refreshing 110 degrees here right now, but it's a dry heat, so it's It's actually very nice. But so we are here in Phoenix, Arizona. We will be doing an event in Tempe, Arizona tomorrow from 6 to 9. Check out our if you go to joe20.com and check out the events. You'll see the events there that are coming up, including the one tomorrow in Tempe, Arizona. And life has been amazing on this bus. I've never done a bus tour before, and it's been a really fantastic thing for us to be able to hit pretty much a different city and a different state every day and talk to everyday Americans across this great country about the issues that they're facing and how Joe's common sense libertarian policies are going to fix the problems that they're often facing.
Thanks so much for the update. Hey, and you'll be with us for a few more minutes as we're going to start taking some questions. We'll have Steve Dasbach, the campaign manager, you, the VP candidate, and myself available to start answering some questions. So we're looking for anyone out there that's watching who has a burning question to make sure to type it into the comments right now. Hey, Spike, were you able to see that ad and watch that as we were watching it just a few minutes ago?
I saw the last minute of it when I was tuning in, but I had actually gotten a sneak peek of it right before that. So I was told when it had been approved for release that I got a sneak peek of it so I could see it just in case I missed it for here. And it is fantastic. Our once again, Dan Smots knocks it out of the park, and we have some of the best people working on our video team, both on site on our bus tours and doing post-production stuff like that video. We have some of the best people in the game, and they're doing it solely out of just amazing dedication for the party and the movement. And it's like Mark was saying before. All we need is the funds to be able to put out these kinds of. We have the great ads. We just need to be able to put them in front of as many people as possible. And unlike the Republicrats, we don't feel entitled to your money, so we don't get taxpayer dollars to pay for our campaign. So we don't feel entitled to your vote. We don't feel entitled to your money. If we have won your support, then hopefully, in addition to winning your vote, we will have won as much of your contributions as you are able to give.
So I see in the comments there are some questions about when is the bus tour coming to Florida, to other states, and that's a great question. Currently, right now, Spike is on the road, as he mentioned, with the bus tour, and there's a number of dates still that are at joe20.com/events. But if you would like to continue to see the candidates campaigning, coming to your cities and coming to your states to meet voters face to face, it is really going to require your support financially. If you could go to joe20.com/give and donate a contribution that fits within your budget, that will really help get the candidates on the road and get them meeting voters in the public. It's a very different year. It's an unusual year. But Spike, can you share with us a little bit more about how your events are going, since they're all outdoors and people are meeting at a distance? How is that going for you?
That's been going pretty well, Jess. We, the reality of the pandemic and the lockdowns is that we can't do these events in stadiums, so we're doing stuff out in parks, mostly in parks, and we've had good turnout. We've had well over 100 people show up at most of these, and many people come out and make a whole day of it. They bring their grills, they bring their barbecues, and it becomes like almost like a mini day at the fair there at the park. And then it ends with the other libertarian speakers and me speaking with the crowd and doing selfies at the end of the day. It has kind of almost like a carnival atmosphere. It's actually been pretty cool, so I'm looking forward to doing it in Tempe as well. But no, it's turned out well. We have taken what we have and something we don't have control over, which is the fact that we can't go into stadiums and venues and things like that very much right now. In order to be able to support the kind of crowds that we're getting, we have to do it outside because we're not bringing small crowds. There are large crowds showing up to say hi to us, both me and Joe, when we're going out to our events. So it is the reality of the situation, but Joe and I have both been doing the best with it.
I see an ad there. Somebody asked about direct links to the videos. We'll get those videos posted on the YouTube channel, and then that should give you the direct link you need. If that's not what you need, then you can email me at stevedasbach@joe20.com, or you can contact our the social media person, Elaine. That's Elaine at joe20.com, and we should be able to get you what you need.
Sounds like from the comments, there's a lot of interest in the ad and when it will be released. And the campaign can always release even more ads and create more ads with more contributions. So please do go to joe20.com/give and help fuel this campaign. Not only fuel the campaign bus, but also fuel the things that we need to do to create campaign advertising. So one of the questions that we just saw was, will Dr. Jorgensen be on the ballot in all 50 states? Steve, I think you probably have the latest update for us on the quest for ballot access.
Yeah, there's a couple of states where we're waiting for formal recognition that she's on, but we have met we know we've met the requirement in all but one state. That one state is Rhode Island. It has the latest deadline. It's early September. They are collecting signatures there now, and we would expect sometime within the next week or so that we will finish that drive, and that'll be the last one. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 states that we're just waiting to get the certification for. For example, in New Hampshire, we have the pages back, the signature pages back from the town clerks. We've added them up. We know there's enough signatures there. Once we've got them all back, we will turn them in, and it takes a few days to get it formally certified. But we have the signatures that are marked as valid in hand, so we know we're going to be on the ballot there. And the other ones we've turned in that haven't been certified yet, we know we were way over the number. So there's no question about us being on those in all 49 plus DC, and we were more than halfway there to the Rhode Island one. It's an easier drive than the ones we've just got done finishing. So we will in fact be on all 50 states plus DC. The only people and again, Dr. Jorgensen will be the only person other than Biden and Trump who will be on all the ballots. Sorry, Kanye.
So one of the questions that Christine had was, who is Spike more looking forward to debating, Pence or Kamala Harris?
So I think it's a tough one because, and I hate to give the political answer of both of them, but when you look, there's 2 unique opportunities there, aren't there? With Mike Pence, anyone who had the illusion that he would act as a conservative check to Donald Trump, the fact that Donald Trump has spent more money and run up more debt than any president before him kind of debunks that whole idea. Mike Pence has proven himself largely irrelevant. So I would love to hear his thoughts on why he has done essentially nothing to promote any kind of conservative thought within the White House. And then, of course, with Kamala Harris, it makes perfect sense that Joe Biden, one of the architects of the militarized police state, would pick as his running mate one of its most brutal enforcers in Kamala Harris. So I would love to ask her about the times that she intentionally withheld exculpatory evidence in capital murder cases, or the fact that she locked up more people at the state level than any other person alive right now. These would all be great questions to ask. So, your help and your assistance in getting us the attention that we need to be able to get the 15% of the polls to get on the debate stage will allow me to be able to make that choice in real time. And I think I'm going to be in a situation where I'm not having to choose, where I'm really going to be able to go after both of them and the people who have been told that they are the quote unquote lesser evils. Of course, Joe will be able to do that between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, 2 people who are uniquely suited to represent every terrible thing to happen from the Republicans in the past several decades.
And we had a question about podcasts that the candidates have been on. If you are a Spotify user, you can just go and search their name in Spotify and search for podcasts that they've been on. But I have seen both Spike's and Joe's calendars. They have some very busy calendars. They're taking lots of interviews. And with the 67 days remaining in the election, I know that they're going to be very, very busy. Spike, how many podcasts have you been on so far?
Gosh, I didn't know I was supposed to keep track. Well over 100. I mean, and I know Joe's schedule has been at least as busy, actually probably busier than mine. Several dozen, well over 100, probably over 150 at this point. I've been on a lot of interviews and podcasts at this point. And if you include, media interviews as well, we're probably we're definitely well over 150 if you include that as well. But just podcasts, definitely over 100.
And every interview that you're taking is getting you even closer to being prepared for participating in the presidential debates. And that's one thing we definitely want to be highlighting, is that getting up the name recognition of our candidates and participating in the polls is one way to help get the candidates on the debate stage. Steve, do you have some more information for our viewers on how to get our candidates on the debate stage this fall?
Well, I think the important thing to really recognize is that we're going to be heard whether the rigged commission puts us in the debates or not. That's why we're focusing on advertising. That's why we're doing the social media. We want to directly connect with voters. So no matter what shenanigans they pull, just like with ballot access, they pull all these games to try to keep us off the ballot, and they've succeeded with the Greens and Kanye of keeping them off some of the ballots, but they haven't stopped us, and we're not going to let them. We're not going to let them stop us from being heard. And so, the more people we can reach, anybody they can decide on election day whoever they want to vote for at that time if they want to buy into the lesser of two evils at that point. Right now, if they get called by anybody if they get called by a pollster, contacted by a pollster, tell them that you're supporting Jo Jorgensen because that's what she needs to get into the debate. The reality is they've designed the process to try to keep people out. And again, it's just like with the ballot access. There's one rule. Some animals are equal. All animals are equal, and some are more equal than others. Well, the ballot rules that we have to comply with are much more difficult than those the Democrats and Republicans have to. And it's the same thing with the debates. They've written the system to try to keep us out, and we have to work extra hard to get past those barriers and force ourselves to be heard.
Thanks so much, Steve, for the information on how to help get the candidates into the debates. We are going to be wrapping up here in just a moment. Spike, before you take off, do you have anything you want to share with the viewers of LPTV?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in and listening to what we have to say. Another thing to note is when you're deciding how much you're able to give, 50% of your donations are going to go directly to ad placement. The other 50% are going to go to things like the bus tours and other tours that we're putting forward, and informational stuff that we put out there and everything else. But just half of it right off the bat is going towards ads and ad placements. So when you say, how do we get Jo Jorgensen ads? How do we see Joe and Spike on TV and on Hulu and on other streaming service advertisements? How do we get them in front of the general public? The short answer to that is your donations. Every 50 cents on the dollar is going directly to that. The only other thing I'll say is I encourage you to come out to Joe and my events if you haven't already, or if you'd like to see us again. I'd love to. Just because you already saw me doesn't mean you can't come out and see me again. Check out our schedule. Go to joe20.com and check out our events, or go to our Facebook pages, Jo Jorgensen and Spike Cohen. Check out our events there. And we'd love to see you. We'd love to meet you in person. When I do my events, and I believe Joe does this as well, I do a very small speech, and then I do as much Q&A, usually for about an hour. So if you have any questions, I'd love to meet you in person and answer any questions that you have. And I just appreciate everyone's support, everything that y'all are doing every day at the grassroots level to help spread the message of liberty. We are fighting for a world set free in our time, and I believe that our time is now. And I thank you.
Thank you so much, Spike, for crushing it out there on the campaign trail. And to all the viewers, please make sure to go to joe20.com/events for an opportunity to meet Dr. Jorgensen and Spike and be able to participate in a campaign event this year. So I want to give a big thanks to Steve Dasbach, Angela Pence, Christy Kendrick, Kevin Moore, Mark Galobe, and Spike Cohen for sharing this evening some insight into the Jorgensen campaign. So that way all of you can feel like you're connected to this campaign and have some insight into what is going on and how you can best make a big difference as we are preparing for November 3rd. And also thanks to Dan Fishman and LPTV for hosting this information this evening. And Steve, do you have any last words before we wrap up for tonight?
Just to put the information about the advertising in perspective, this week we had over $100,000 worth of advertising in streaming TV and Facebook ads. And whether that number goes up or down next week depends on the donations that come in. Your contributions are our budget, and so we're keeping the fixed cost as low as we can so that we can pump as much money into direct voter outreach as we can.
And to that end, we just got news of a massive donation from Robert Schultz. Robert, thank you so much for your donation. It is the contributions, the generous contributions of folks like you and everyone else who's watching this who makes generous contributions that help us be able to do ads and help us be able to do these tours and help us be able to do everything else that we need to do to be able to spread the message of liberty during this election cycle and to tell people how our common sense libertarian solutions, the ones that we've been promoting for 49 years now, are the ones that are going to solve the problems that the Republicrats working hand in hand have created and imposed upon us. We're going to give you back the power because you are the power and you are the one who is going to be able to take back your communities. And it starts with your contributions, and it starts with voting for Joe, and it starts with voting for every libertarian on the ballot. Thank you so much for your support.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.